Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, it is the middle of January, and so that means that I'm going to be giving you updates on my entire collection, giving you what's going on. Honestly, there's been quite a lot of things going on since my December updates video last month, and it's not all been great. So yeah, before I get into it, I just want to say if you are new here and you don't know me already, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you enjoy these updates as well. Let's turn this camera around and get going on these updates. So probably the thing that I am most sad about in my entire collection is my Sis's Discolor. Oh my goodness, look at this. So there are still a couple leaves at the top, which I've honestly just been procrastinating propping because I think I could probably chop and prop them at this point, but oh my god, all of this, it's all just gone and died, and so sad. And I was so proud of this plant as well. It's really annoying because like I grew this plant so well in 2020, and then I didn't water it once because I was sick before going away on holiday, and I was gonna water everything. I just could not. I was so like cloudy in the brain, so fatigued and tired that I just didn't end up watering anything, and it caused quite a lot of damage. This is the worst one. Sis's Discolor do not handle being underwatered. They don't. It just goes real bad. So I highly suggest, if I could amend my Sis's Discolor video, I would, but I can't now. But I highly suggest that if you have one of these, you do not underwater it because it will just die, which is unfortunate. Maybe after this, I'll have the courage to chop her up. I think I've just been mourning it a bit and feeling sorry for myself, which isn't ideal, but I am really upset about that. My Calathea ornata also might have suffered a little bit from the underwatering. You can see the edges of the leaves are going a bit yellow-brown on some of them. I think it just had a bit of underwatering as well, unfortunately. It isn't ideal. I have since started watering it better again, and it hasn't like lost everything, which is good, and I have checked it for pests and it's fine, but it's just like, it's just a little bit sadder than I was hoping it would be, and it looks like kind of scarce in the middle there, and I don't think loads of stuff has died. I haven't really taken anything off of it, so I'm not really sure why that's happening, but hopefully I can keep it happy enough until spring where it grows more and is once again happy, because that would be brilliant. I think the other main thing in this corner, which you would have seen if you watched like one of my chopping up plants videos at the end of December, I believe, is that I chopped my Splendid. I've also tied, not Splendid, oh my god, Glorious. Where is my brain? My Glorious, sorry about that. I've also tied her up because her leaves are kind of going all over the place and blocking other things from the light, so I kind of brought them all together. There's absolutely no harm in doing this to your plant as long as you're not tying them tightly. I just did it with a bit of Velcro, like computer Velcro, the same stuff that I would use to tie it to a pole, and I think it does look a bit nicer like that. It is a bit clustered, but that's okay. Another sort of happy update is from when I put my double monsteras together. I don't think I had done this time last month, but I took both of my variegated monsteras and I joined them together. I've got one that's a little bit more marbly, less variegated, and then one that's got like huge swaths of white in it. And I've joined them together on a moss pole in hopes that I can get it to mature a little bit more, because that would be awesome. And since I've done that, it has popped out this new leaf, which is great, because I'm pretty sure I hadn't repotted this one in ages, so I'm sure it's loving the new soil. I think this leaf might be new as well, which is exciting. This one is 3/4 white, which is not ideal, but since this is so freaking close to a grow light, it's probably getting enough light to be fine. The leaf before it is browning a little bit, and I think it's because it's facing the wrong way and touching the pole, and so it's getting like weird moisture from that, which isn't ideal, but otherwise, I think this is a happy plant, and if I can get it to grow into a pole and like maybe one day like extend the pole up, just make a really nice big beautiful monstera plant, that's my goal for it, and that's why I put them together. But it's doing pretty well in there, and I think it's overall a very happy plant. Honestly, not much is going on down here other than that this is quite messy. Whenever I film, I put plants on here and then I forget to clean it up, which is my bad. I have been meaning for ages, and that's why it's here, to pot up this Pubicalix Hawaiian Hoya that's just been propagating in water. Because like, look at all of those roots. I do have another one. This is one that Claire gave me to fill in my other cutting that I got from her to make it a slightly bushier plant. And so I have another plant that I want to put it in. I've just kind of been lazy. I think that one is in Pawn, and that's why I water propped this one, but I cannot be sure. I don't quite remember. My Thanksgiving Christmas cactus from Mind, Body, and Soil is doing really well still. It did lose all its flowers. That is completely normal after the sort of Thanksgiving Christmas period. It will drop all of them, but I'm not really mad about it. I like how these plants look as they are, and I'm excited to have one that's a bit more full, because I did have one that was just grown from cuttings a long time ago, but oh my god, do you see how big that like leaf blade is? If I could get them to grow like that, that would be amazing, and I would be pretty happy about that. But I think it looks just nice there, a bit of texture in that corner. I don't think I've shown y'all the top of the cabinet for ages, just because I mostly just have propagation stations up here. It's also extremely dusty, excuse that. But I have some water propagations up here. My lemon lime Maranta, I chopped it up completely. Like, it was going wrong. I think it also suffered from underwatering. I had a lot of plants suffer from underwatering over the Christmas period, so it did, and so I've got these propping in water so I can hopefully put them back in semi-hydro when I'm done. Got some Linearis in there, some Crimson Princess Philodendron, gosh no, Hoya, some Monstera Siltepecana, and some classic satin pothos. More Monstera Siltepecana. I should probably put the other one in with that. And my Jade Satin, which that leaf isn't a good example, but it is healthy and there's plenty of cuttings in there. And my snake plant, which is doing absolutely nothing, and I think I might get rid of because it's just a bit too slow for me and it's not really my vibe, so who knows? Who knows what I'll do with that. But otherwise, up here is doing pretty well. My string of hearts, of course, are doing great. The variegated one that I have here has grown so much. I have some non-variegated ones propping from there that I chopped. They just grow so freaking fast that once you get them going, they get going. And I feel like I'm loving how full this is finally. I know it's not super duper full, but compared to when I got it, when it was like 2 or 3 strands, it looks so much more full now, and I really love that. Going inside of the IKEA cabinet, I feel like I've done a lot of rearranging. A lot of the plants that I got really scissor happy with were living in here, and so areas like up behind there that used to be really full of my Siltepecana and my Jade Satin pothos are now clear. Otherwise, it feels a bit crowded in this area. I've put my Splendid cuttings back there. This one I feel like I'm going to need to move out of here eventually just because it has gotten so kind of big for what it is. This is my Hoya Parasitica, and it's growing super well. I potted up my Philodendron Gigantum. I was gonna say in a recent video, but it was in one that I filmed that didn't get recorded in the end, unfortunately. Whoops. But I've potted this up and it is doing well at the top back here, hopefully enjoying the light. It does look like it'll probably pop out a new leaf at some point, but not anytime soon. Otherwise, things in here are growing well. My alocasias are still popping out leaves. I think the dragon scale. This leaf is new. This is a new leaf on my reversa. I'm pretty sure I have a new leaf on the platinum as well, somewhere back there. And it's just doing well. Oh, this is exciting. Probably one of the most exciting things that this plant has ever done. Oh my goodness. This is my a medium silver, and it's just popped out this new leaf. It has taken freaking ages to grow. It's probably one of my freaking slowest growing plants, and it makes me not like it as much, because otherwise I would love this plant. It's got the silvery blue that I enjoy, and it's got splits. It's a bit of fun, but it grows so slowly. It has, I think, 3 or 4 leaves total, and I think it took 6 months to a year to grow this one, so it might have grown 1 or 2 leaves in 2022, but that is not many, and it's just like, it just grows slightly too slow for me, which is a shame, because otherwise I really love it. It's just so slow. Down at the bottom, again, we are looking nice and jam-packed. You can see these are the glorious cuttings I have. There's 2 there. They're kind of compacted in there, and my black velvet alocasia is popping out a new leaf. The saddest thing is my regal. If you watched my getting scissor happy video recently, I had to chop the leaf off of this one because it had gone so yellow. I'm hoping that this is new growth here, but I am still not sure. Just gonna be patient, and hopefully it grows a new leaf soon, because I would really love it to come back, because I love my regal so much. So got my fingers crossed for it, but I'm not holding my breath because I think it's probably gonna take a little while before anything happens with that. I put my Monstera dubia on a poll recently as well, I think in one of my plant miss videos, and I kind of snaked it along there in hopes that it would shingle. This leaf looks like it's starting to shingle, and then so I hope this next one does as well. If I can get it to shingle and size up, that would be brilliant. But again, I'm not holding my breath because I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to get my hopes up. I have really struggled with propagating this one. I've had this leaf for so long, I think since like March or something last year. And it was propping for, I'd say, at least 6 months, and it didn't put out any new growth. I finally decided to pot it up because it had roots, but not like great roots. I was just like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, and it grew a new sprout, but it just put out this really long runner, which I probably should have propped up, or potted up, or put on a pole, or put on support or something before I did. I just kind of like let it go, but hopefully this is the like beginning of my Monstera dubia being a happy camper. So yeah, that's kind of the main stuff that's going on up here. Otherwise, it's pretty normal, nothing special. My Warwickwianum has still done absolutely nothing. There's no sign of new leaves in there, so I don't know if it ever will. If it doesn't, it was a 60-pound bit of decoration for a while, because I think it's gorgeous. I love looking at it, and I love what it adds to this bit of my cabinet, so I'm not mad that I have it. I just wish it would do something. I know it's just being slow, but I really want it to grow a new leaf because that would be amazing. One of the biggest changes that I've made in the last month is that I've rearranged the office space. Basically, since I chopped up the pink princess plant, I think it was last week, I needed to rearrange because it kind of like centered around the pink princess sitting in that corner with the Hector grow lamp pointing at it. And once that was gone, I didn't really have any plants I could replace it with. I tried a myriad of things and just nothing was working. And so I decided to move my Rudsta cabinet flat against that wall next to the shelves instead. So it's kind of like a flat wall of plants, which I am really loving. I would turn this top light on, but it's so warm that it kind of messes up the temperature of this footage, so it's gonna be off for the time being. But I think I like this so much better. It kind of gives a little bit more room here. We usually have our laundry here, but I've moved it to show you what's going on and in the moments when we don't have laundry drying, it is quite nice to just see all of this in one big strip. So let's go into the Rudsta cabinet first. Oh my goodness, things are growing so well in here. I think I got these since the last time I saw you. Let me turn the fan off really quick in case it's making noise. These are magnetic, I think they're technically spice rack shelves that I have just put on the back because the back of the Rudsta is magnetic. So if you do want something to put plants on the back wall of your Rudsta, these magnetic shelves are great. I will link them below in the description. And I know I originally said I wanted this for mostly tall things, and I still do. I don't want to put a shelf in here like properly. I want them to have vertical space. When there was nothing up there, it just kind of felt like I was wasting room. And especially because the Jungle Dongborola is so great, I just thought it would be a waste to not utilize the power that it has. So I have put some highlight loving plants at the top, mostly Hoyas and some jungle cacti like my fishbone and my head of hair cactus. I haven't said anything about this yet. This is my Hoya Curtisii that I got ages and ages ago, and oh my goodness, I decided to chop it back entirely, and so now it's just like a few tiny cuttings in some water. We'll see if they grow. I literally did this like a day or two ago, so I don't know if anything will come out of it. My fishbone cactus, though, is doing brilliantly. You can see the sort of new growth in there is all red, and it's growing quite big. This is like the biggest bit that's grown for me since I've had it. Obviously this bit here is quite big as well, but this is the first bit that I feel like I grew myself. So that's exciting. I potted up my Hoya Polyneura Broge in some soil and put it up here to hopefully get really good light. And oh my goodness, let me show you this in slightly better conditions so you can actually see the color. Oh my goodness. So I knew that the Hoya New Guinea Ghost sun stressed, and so I wanted to see that for myself and put it to the test. And oh my goodness, since it's been underneath the Jungle Dongborola lights so close to them, it is starting to go like pinky purple all over the leaves. Like, look at that. All over the whole leaves. And I am just really, really, really enjoying watching that. It is like absolutely stunning and just a bit of fun. I mean, I really love the silver as it is, but just experimenting with the sun stress is quite fun for me, and playing around with Hoya in this way is a bit of a fun thing to experiment with. I think, not quite yet, but we're getting close to getting my Syndapsis snake scale to shingle again. I still haven't put more moss on the plank, but I've just been kind of going at it anyway. It feels like it's sticking a little bit. I did just move it, so maybe it will reattach. But the leaves, they're getting smaller and smaller, but that's good because the leaves are supposed to be about that size when they're shingling, not these sort of big, normal satin pothos leaves, not those. More like that. So I'm hoping that these next couple leaves come out in the proper snake scale way. I don't know if I need to add moss to the pole to do that, but you can see where I'm like spraying water on those bits of the plank. I try and water this one or like spray it with water every other day, every 3 days. It kind of depends on how much I'm paying attention to it, but as you can see, the moss is a little bit dry right now, so I should probably give it a spray today. This is what's left of my pink princess from the base of the plant. I do have some cuttings of it. I'm keeping the top cutting and a couple other of the cuttings. I did give the rest to my patrons who wanted them, so that was good. I'm glad that they have those, but I am hoping that I can get the top to root and then I can put it back in here and maybe have a bit of a fuller plant. Oh my goodness, I just saw this. This is so exciting. I freaking love when my Alocasia, if it would focus, Branchifolia, Pink Passion, puts out a new leaf, and oh my goodness, it is! This one has been quite intensely part of the one in, one out club, so I think it might lose this leaf, but this one is looking incredible. So Maybe it won't, but maybe it will. Either way, I'm excited to watch that one unfurl. On top of the cabinet, it's quite messy and jumbled at the minute. I don't think it's ideal, but I needed some place for these taller plants on poles to go, and sort of my alocasia poly that is just tall. All of these plants don't really fit on the shelves. They don't fit in that sort of space, so I needed a place to put them. So they're all just up here, and they're doing okay. Nothing great, but also nothing bad going on with them. Same kind of with the plants up top. Nothing really that exciting going on. My forgetty eye inflorescence died out, I think is here. I should probably cut it off that, but it does, like I said, look like it's growing another one. Super exciting, and I'll collect more pollen from it. I do have some in my fridge from the original inflorescence, so if the other one goes into female stage, I might try and pollinate it and see if I can get myself some more forgetty eye white stripes. Big Monstera, still done nothing, and I don't expect it to ever grow anything ever. That's how I feel about it, and that's how it is. These shelves are honestly doing okay. I have been not the best at watering them. Nothing super duper special going on here. My peperomia white ice is kind of bouncing back. It does still have quite a lot of damage on it from transit, so I'm hoping that it grows more leaves and I can get it to look a little bit healthier. But I guess, see that, I don't like that. So I'm still working on trying to get this one to grow happily. We will see. It's probably gonna take time. Speaking of peperomias, this one is growing amazingly. It is still just living inside of that cloche there, and oh my goodness, look at this. This is the biggest I have ever been able to get this plant. It is still moist, so I don't need to give it water quite yet. You can see it does sit with water down there, so it's getting humidity at its roots like pretty much all the time. But oh my goodness, I'm so freaking proud of that. And I really, really hope it continues to thrive, because I think it's so cool looking. Look at that. This peperomia, however, is still staying so yellow, and I'm still not sure why. Like, it's moist. I think maybe it's getting slightly too high of light, so I might move it somewhere slightly darker, but I'm still just not sure about it. The Hoya at the back, the Crassiopetalata Splash, I put on a trellis, and you can see in there, it's got the tiniest little leaf that's gonna sprout. So that's super exciting. Hopefully it being on the trellis will encourage more of that growth. Everything else up here is like nothing really to report. Things are just okay. I feel like this is where my plants, especially my small ones, are fine. I do end up watering this area more than I do the areas with bigger plants, just because they're smaller pots, so I need to stay slightly more on top of it, but I can manage that, and they seem to be doing all right. Since I rearranged the office, I also had to find a new place for my big Monstera, and I have put it just on this table here. I'm hoping it likes that. I think I might have found thrips on it the other day, so I did give it a spray of Provanto in hopes that they would go away. I think it is starting to root into the pole. Yeah, you can see, look at that. So it is liking it, but I just hope that I can get it to grow bigger leaves and go back to this sort of double split life, maybe even get into the triple splits, because that would make me like so immensely happy. That's my goal for this plant. Goal for 2023, but goal for this plant in general. So hopefully I've got my fingers crossed for it, that it recovers well and stays nice and happy. I should probably put a cup on here and water it regularly as well, because that is kind of important. I'm honestly not sure whether or not I was able to pollinate my crystallinum. Like, it doesn't look like it has. I don't know if it just like never entered the female stage or what. It's never really entered any stage. It's not producing pollen either, so I'm not too sure about what's going on, but I'm just gonna keep an eye on it longer and hopefully something will happen, but I'm not sure. My banana plant is continuing to grow very well and quite bushy. It's kind of going back to that thing where it's like pushing out leaves very close to each other, which I'm not sure how much I like, but hopefully it doesn't get as bad as it did before when I decided to like rip it down into nothing, because that was not ideal. It also has the couple of baby plants down there doing so well, which is super duper cute. My Mitchelletiana, I'm still not totally feeling. It's still super sprawly. Super sprawly. It is perfectly happy though. It just popped out this leaf. I think officially it started unraveling today. Yesterday when I was looking at it, it wasn't unfurling yet, so it's still happy. It's just not my favorite. I'm still so tempted to just like chop that and see what happens if I can prop it, because I'm pretty sure. So my brain tells me I can. I know loads of you commented saying that I can't prop it like that, and they don't prop from cuttings. I know they don't prop from like leaf and stem cuttings. Like if I chopped there, that wouldn't prop. I know that. All of these areas, those are all like, I think technically nodes, because like I think a root would come out of there and maybe a new growth point would come there, or maybe a root, I'm not sure. But like there's loads of these little knobs on this bit of plant, so I don't see why I wouldn't be able to propagate it. So I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not feeling super attached to this plant at the minute, so maybe I'll just do it for the experiment's sake and we will see what happens. I honestly feel like not that much is going on in the bedroom at the minute. My trailing plants are continuing to grow. My Adansonii suddenly just popped out this like quite large leaf, which I'm not sure exactly why it's done that, but I think it might be due to the grow light up there. I know it's not pointing exactly on it, but it's creating light around it, so I'm not too sure. I think I massively underwatered this one when I went away, and so there's some bits in the middle that aren't the happiest with me, unfortunately. Hopefully I can keep watering it and get it to be happy again, but I'm not too sure. Around here on the top, I got rid of my jewel orchid. I just decided that it was no longer serving me. Not serving me, that sounds like its purpose was to serve me, but it was no longer bringing me joy. It was just bringing me stress, and it just kept dying, so I got rid of it. And instead I put this green syngonium up here, which I'm also not feeling that much, but I feel like this one can tolerate not that much light, so it'll be fine. I'm still loving my lipstick plant. It's looking super cute and growing well, as well as my string of turtles, which I basically forget about all the time. I never remember it, but it is growing so well, so I cannot be upset with that. My Monstera Standelliana is also growing so well. I do really need to chop and prop it. I think I'm gonna do a care video of this one soon, because I've just had so much, not luck with this one in 2022, but I feel like I've gotten a great grip on what this plant is liking now, and so I feel like I can adequately give y'all a care video of that, so keep an eye out for that. If it's not gone up already, it will go up soon, I'm sure. My Rafetophora tetrasperma touching the ceiling. I need to do something about that, but I'm gonna continue ignoring it for now because it'll just be fine doing that. It's not gonna complain about it. Unfortunately, my Amplissimum silver stripe also suffered a lot when I underwatered most of my plants. It had several leaves down here that went super duper yellow and basically just fell off because it was so unhappy. Luckily it's not terrible. I don't really mind that there's a gap down there because this bit is still quite full. I am gonna have to chop and prop this top bit soon anyway because they're getting quite close to the top, so once I prop them I can put them back in there and fill it out a little bit. I did, however, move my mistletoe cactus from here to up here in the window because I chopped up my Curtisii, which was originally here, and put my mistletoe cactus here, which I'm hoping it loves getting a bit of light. Otherwise, these Hoyas are doing really well and enjoying the sunlight from today because it is sunny and exciting and nice today, which I am loving, and I'm hoping my plants are loving as well. Thank you, sun, for existing at some point of time in the UK. Down in my palm box, oh my god, I really need to find this begonia a new home, but I am so nervous because I know how much it's loving the high humidity of this box, it's like doing so well. It's literally my first begonia that's ever done well, and so I don't want to kill it by putting it in a new position. Sorry, now the sun's come out and it's blocking. That's slightly better. Also, my Anthurium Silver Blush in there, doing super well. Everything in here is always doing super well. They love this nice 100% humidity box. Honestly, this corner is doing so amazingly. I am so happy with how things are doing here. The humidity is staying fairly low. I know it says it's 62 right now, but that's because I turned the dehumidifier off. So I will need to turn that back on after I film because it was making noise, so I didn't want it on. But things are growing really well here. My Mandrula pothos is loving being by the grow light. It's giving me proper big leaves with lots of variegation on them at the minute, and I think that is down to it getting 12 hours of grow light a day from my mother grow light. My little cacti and succulents are also doing pretty well down here. I think they are, in general, fairly happy with the semi-hydro life. I've not watered them more than once during this time. It's probably time for a water again, but I've kind of been procrastinating it because I know that they can handle living a little bit longer without. So, taking it slow. My pickle cactus did lose a bunch. Hopefully it perks back up because I love this little guy. The jade plant, however, my Crassula ovata, is loving this light. It's getting so much more light here than it ever did in my windowsill just because it's so dark. In the UK, it's getting direct grow light, and I think it has sped up growth quite a lot because I've actually noticed things growing on it rather than it just looking exactly the same for like tons and tons of time. Also, I recently got this little baseball cactus. So I gave some plants away from my video of the plants I don't care anymore. I gave some syngoniums away, and like, look at that. The lady gave me this for like, obviously for that. She also gave me chocolate, which was super sweet. But I wasn't expecting anything in return, and she gave me this, which was adorable. I need to pot this into some semi-hydro as well as my angel wing, which isn't looking the happiest. It feels dry, and oh my gosh, this soil is not ideal. I think it's like super duper compact soil in there, which I don't think this plant is gonna like. So hopefully I can save it because I do think it's a beautiful thing, but it does feel a bit meh at the minute. Another plant that massively suffered with underwatering during my illness is my Marble Queen. I am so sad about it. I lost pretty much every leaf along this vine, and the ones that are still here are super duper wrinkly even after I've been watering them, so I'm not too sure what's gonna happen with them. I think I need to give this whole thing a bit of a makeover, maybe start again. Like, I've just been able to pluck yellow leaves off almost every day. I've lost at least 1 or 2 more, so I don't know what's gonna happen with this one, but something does need to happen because right now it is not looking pretty and not giving me the jungle vibes that I want it to. And it's not healthy and happy, and I want to make it healthy and happy again. So that's a bit sad, but it's fine, I guess. Lastly, my sort of shelves. They are doing so well still. I think they are very happy, getting tons of grow light. I finally decided to chop and prop my String of Hearts Silver Glory because all of these were underneath there. So it was like getting kind of in the way of like our dressing table. So I've chopped and propped it, and hopefully I can make it a fuller plant in the coming months once those are ready to be propped. My Pseudo Ripsalis, or Ripsalis Red Coral, is also doing super well. I have come to really love this plant a lot. This was my first ever jungle cactus, and I think it is so cool. It's so different from the sort of tropical plants that I have sort of known and loved throughout my entire plant career. And so it's just a bit of new and exciting. I've had it for a year now, and it is just a stunning thing, and it just keeps growing, and I'm so happy. Like, look, it's touching the Gloriosum now. Look at that. My Gloriosum, still fine. Looks like it's popping out a new leaf, but I'm not going to talk too much about that because I want to wait until the new leaf comes out and looks nice. Otherwise, these corners doing great and everything is a-okay. So that is it. That is what is going on in my plant collection. I feel like I had a lot of updates this time just because, like, I feel like half of my collection is doing really, really well and the other half is suffering a little bit due to underwatering because I was sick. So it's unfortunate, but it's just how things are, and overall I'm feeling a lot better with my collection lately. I have been working on getting rid of some plants that I haven't been loving as much, and so I'm feeling better about it and I'm feeling quite relieved, and I'm not worried about chopping anymore. I feel like for a while I was feeling scared of chopping, and if I didn't like a plant I would just leave it to die, and I'm trying to let that not happen anymore. And so chopping, giving away, just getting rid of stuff that I don't feel works for me anymore, and yeah, so that is the updates for January. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. If you saw any plants on here that you would like me to discuss further, or any topics really, let me know and I can make that happen for you. And yeah, subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!